Howdy there. Okay, so this one is on components of the blood. So describe the components of the blood and explain their importance during exercise. And it's worth 10 marks. So let's revise. So let's start with the red blood cells. We should know what these are, all from our early biology days. So this is a red blood cell. It transports oxygen and carbon dioxide. It contains something called hemoglobin, and this carries oxygen in the form of oxyhemoglobin. It's a bit like a donut shape, however the middle is obviously still attached, okay? You can't put your finger through it and eat it, alright? And we call this a biconcave shape. And what this allows for is a greater surface area for diffusion, so more oxygen can get in and more carbon dioxide can get out. Okay, so it's great for that. Then we've got something called white blood cells. Okay, so I've got a picture here of those. These are the cells responsible for fighting infection or disease. Okay, so they go around the body in the bloodstream, finding, and if there is any foreign bodies, attacking and destroying them. We've then got a yellowy kind of liquid, you can kind of see it here in this collection bag, called plasma. And this fluid kind of enables all other cells to travel around the body. It can carry carbon dioxide, as well as the red blood cells can. It carries proteins, glycogen, triglycerides, and both of those are really important for making energy. Fats obviously for the aerobic system, and glycogen is the main source of energy for the anaerobic system. Then we've got platelets. Now you might find this picture a little bit squeamish, but yes, it is a scab. Okay, now platelets go around in the blood and they help to form a clot, okay, and obviously a scab when it's dry, and their job is to stop or minimize bleeding, okay, not just on the outside on skin, internally as well. Some hormones are released when damage occurs, and so they know that they need to rush to that site to form that clot to minimize that bleeding. It's very, very clever. So, the question, let's break it down then. So our command words are describe and explain. So we need to give lots of characteristics and details, and then explain to say how and why things are happening. We are looking at the components of the blood, and we know now there's 4, and we're looking specifically during exercise. Okay, so let's head over to the mark scheme. If we want to get 8 to 10 out of 10, we need to have detailed knowledge and understanding. We need to have accurate use of terminology, so you need to nail any definitions, any key terms, and you also need an effective analysis and explanation, and of course high standard quality written communication. So looking at the blue box then, it says identify and describe the components of the blood, and we know there's 4 parts, so let's quickly describe them. So red blood cells, a biconcave shaped cell found in the blood, has no nucleus and a thin membrane. White blood cells has a nucleus and is capable of mobility. Platelets, produced in the bone marrow, and they're tiny cells that form a clot or a scab. Plasma is 50% of blood volume. It's a yellowy liquid containing water and nutrients. So let's head to the red box then. This is where we need to explain the function and importance of each component and apply specifically to exercise. So red blood cells, these contain this word here, hemoglobin. Really important you know how to spell this, because that A you may miss off, which is important. And these transport oxygen in the form of oxyhemoglobin. Okay, that goes to the muscles and tissues in the body that need it. They have that biconcave donut shape, okay, which increases the surface area for diffusion of gases, okay, and it also means they can carry more oxygen. Red blood cells are important during exercise as they're responsible for the delivery of oxygen to the muscle, which is needed for energy production and to break down lactic acid, to prevent a build-up and reduce the effect of DOMS. We all hate DOMS a day or 2 after training, and your muscles really ache. So white blood cells then. So the main role is to protect the body against bacteria or viruses by phagocytosis or antibody production. So phagocytes ingest, that means they take in and break down microorganisms. Lymphocytes are responsible for making antibodies that are carried in plasma. These travel around the body and they locate foreign bodies and destroy them. White blood cells don't have a use during exercise, but they help to keep an athlete fit so that they can train. Platelets. Whenever there's a bleed, in the body, platelets are alerted and moved to the site. They stick together to form a clot to reduce and stop the bleeding. They are important during exercise because if a bleed happens, they'll stop the bleeding so that the athlete can continue exercising. And lastly, plasma. So plasma transports things like carbon dioxide, protein, hormones, glycogen, and triglycerides around the body. We know all of these are important. For example, glycogen is essential to make ATP energy during exercise. Triglycerides, which are fats, are important as they're the main fuel source for aerobic energy, especially during low intensity, long duration exercise such as the marathon. Plasma also carries waste products such as carbon dioxide, which during exercise is produced as a byproduct of aerobic exercise. Removing more CO2, so carbon dioxide, delays the onset of fatigue and means the athlete can continue exercising for longer, before they're going to get tired. They are the 4 components of blood that you need to know and then why they are important for exercise. Cheerio!